Denny Hamlin lead the field at 39. Green flags in the air. They stay 2 by 2. The International Horseshoe. Denny Hamlin has the preferred line in the 11.
Impressive start by the driver of the 11. We haven't seen anyone go side by side through that little turn 2 kink. He was able to do it and takes the lead, heading now to the dog leg. It's just a little bit of a left-hand turn, but driver's very slick as it heads into the other hairpin.
Yeah, Kyle Busch jumping up on the outside. We've seen this pass happen and work several times in the truck race and the Xfinity race. Outside of that corner, works pretty well. Kyle Busch making it happen.
These drivers are processing so much information right now, trying to understand where the grip level is on this infield course. You see some guys getting more aggressive, more brave with their braking zones, more brave with their throttle on exit.
Kyle Busch in that 18 car, he ran the 24-hour race this January. So very, very short time since he's been on this racetrack. Many others in the field had track time, but not many were able to race this year.
Yeah, that'll be a great advantage for Kyle for a few laps here early in this race. He wants to take advantage of that while he has it.
Truex all over the back of Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Kevin very slow and cautious into this chicane. He obviously watched the Xfinity race yesterday.
All the drivers talked about using simulation and all those things, right? But that's by yourself. Now you're racing somebody. Truex going to try to jump inside of Harvick into this front straightaway chicane.
These are teammates. Denny Hamlin has the 18 of Kyle Busch chasing after him. Lap 1 at the road course is led by Denny Hamlin. The first laps ever turned by NASCAR's Cup Series here on the road course.
What a great job by this entire field to get through this first lap with no idea of what they were getting themselves into without any big issues.
It's a great shot right here. Here we go. We got the track map for you also. This little kink right here is, we'd like to run wide open, but just can't quite do it in these heavy stock cars. Heavy braking into turn 5. Kyle with a big high entry to try to make the exit of this corner straighter.
Yeah, that's the difference in knowing how to get around this racetrack with experience. Kyle making that entrance wide to be able to get that drive off, get the wheel straight. So right here, the wheel a little bit straighter, he can drive off the corner and his throttle more while Denny's still out there wide trying to turn the wheel.
And now Kyle Busch is hoping to get a little bit of a draft off that 11 car.
Got a good run here.
Yeah, you can see as they're accelerating, the draft will be very effective in these cars. Kind of showing Denny Hamlin, I want this spot, going to outbrake Denny, put Denny in a spot where he just needs a lift, concede the spot. Good smart driving by both drivers.
You have to think that time in the 24 hours early this year is the difference there with the 18 car being able to drive up through there and take these positions and lead this race. I'd expect the rest of the field to start to gain experience, gain speed. Watching that 4 car through turn 4 of the NASCAR oval, he looks completely uncomfortable moving that car around. I don't know if he's bottoming out the track bar or what's happening there, but that car does not look settled in the load of the banking. You mentioned that. One of the biggest challenges for the crew chiefs, as I spoke to him all week long, was just, as we see now, side by side for the lead again, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch down into turn 1. Kyle had the lead. Denny Hamlin fighting back on the outside. Once again, no, this time not side by side through that little left and right section of turn 2, now into the horseshoe. As I was saying about the challenges, Rick, we see it at the Charlotte Roval, the infield and the banking, but that's at a 1.5 mile racetrack. Here at Daytona, over 30 degrees of banking. So when you climb up into the banks, the loading's so much in the race car, they're worried about hitting the racetrack. Here's what happened to the 18 car.
Yeah, just dragging that left front tire. That enabled Denny Hamlin to get some positive momentum, head toward him, ends up making the pass into turn 1. Dylan.
And Kyle Busch is getting ready to come in. The crew is on the wall. He felt like he flat spotted that right front. He came on the radio and said, yeah, it's the right front coming to you. So the crew is on the wall now waiting. So unless Kyle feels something differently here over this next lap, expect the 18 in.
So a flat spot is basically just like it sounds. You
look left on the video.
Take that round Goodyear tire and you slide it so long that you grind through the rubber and put a flat spot. It can just shake, which is annoying, but not a problem as far as durability. But if you slide through enough rubber, Rick, you'll actually get down to the cording. You can blow a tire. If Kyle Busch thinks it's that severe at lap 3, I love the idea of pitting. You won't lose a lap. This thing's almost 4 miles long.
I'm thinking left front, not right.
Conversation about whether it's the left or the right. Just change 4 tires if you come into pit road at this point.
Yeah, it was a left front. Kyle thought it was a right front, but we saw.
You need to. We'll put 4 on it. Not a problem.
Yeah, you may as well put 4 on it.
I agree completely. You know, keep yourself in the race, Jeff, right? Don't try to get too fancy too early. We'll see. So this is it where he slid the tire last time, that front stretch chicane.
He's going to slide it again.
He got 2 for 2.
He never downshifted, as far as I could tell.
He must have gotten in there so far he was afraid to downshift and get it wheel hopping.
Definitely left front.
Definitely slid it long enough in my mind to hurt a tire.
So he did not pit, stayed out on the racetrack here.
You know, the question is, many times when you flat spot a tire, just a little bit, right? The question, does it find that spot on the racetrack again and then you slide it again? That's where you get into problems. If Kyle did not flat spot the same area of the tire, he may have 2 small flat spots versus 1 big one, which would 2 small is better than 1 big one for sure.
He's got a stop sign on the left front.
He's got a 2-second lead over 3rd right now, but we know Kyle Busch uncomfortable behind the wheel. For the lead, Martin Truex Jr. just took it away from Denny Hamlin. Can he hang on to it? Hamlin was fighting back through turn 4 into turn 5, and now Hamlin has to work even harder if he wants to get back up front.
Oh, a little contact right there. Hamlin got a little damage on that left front fender from that.
Yeah, I'm actually a little concerned about where that fender's pushed in. It might rub when we get up on the high banks. That's where that front tire will load the most. Man. See if we can take a look at this left front as he climbs the traditional banking here at Daytona. Oh, yeah, I see a little smoke.
It's smoking already.
Still 6 to go in this stage.
Oh,
We're
boy.
learning as we go here. We'll get you fixed up.
Sure, that's a little
Your
smoke.
race.
A little bit of an unforced error there, in my opinion. He didn't put up a big fight. So he didn't put up a big fight for this lead. See, Martin Truex Jr. went to the right, and then he just said, there you go, have it. Look at all the room he gave him. Then went to turn and try to get next to him. Then down this back straightaway.
K-Bar wants you to bring it.
Just can't run through here side by side safely. And this early in the race, Denny decides to lift, give the spot. So at this point, I'm thinking Denny's just kind of conceded the spot, right? Going to run second, try to learn something from Martin. Martin's been faster. Denny turns underneath him, and right here, there's contact. I don't think Martin even thought he was going to be there. I don't know, guys. If you're going to kind of give somebody a spot, why put yourself in that situation?
I agree, unforced error, and you see in the bottom right of your screen the 11 of Denny Hamlin called to pit road by Chris Gabehart. The strategy would be to pit around lap 13, which is 3 laps from now. So Dave, I don't think this is a huge penalty. Actually, a great call by the crew chief to go ahead and take your medicine and come now.
Yeah, in fact, Steve, they have the hose caught under the splitter there. In fact, some crew chiefs did tell me they might come this early. So it is one strategy that was being thrown around, so this won't put them off by much. They're going to go ahead and pound out that fender there. And this is just a safeguard, right? There are lots of things you shouldn't do on the early laps and take a chance. And one would be leave your driver out there with any kind of a tire rub.
The other one would be to knock your fender in. I say that, but Jeff, I completely agree with you, right? It's one thing if you stack up in the middle of the corner, but you know, and then you see right here, just an unfortunate timing for a bad pit stop. Won't hurt him as much under green, but I agree with what your complete analysis there, Jeff, right? You know, why push it that much earlier? You don't see the 11 make those mistakes this year. He's claimed, and I agree with him, he's been winning more races with his brain, right? Just being smarter. This is not one of his best moves so far in 2020.
Well, listen, this is all different, right? We talked about how the chaos, the craziness, all these words that have been described in this racetrack, it's got the drivers are in a completely different situation, and when you get in a different situation, you tend to behave a little differently, right? So it's just the pressures, the desire to win, all those things. It's hard to get everything lined up and make proper decisions all the time.
The reason why it's such a penalty is because as you make these unforced errors, Truex, Chase Elliott now are 1-2 coming into the race. Even with the unknowns, they had to be the 2 favorites in my mind. You see Truex on pit road. There's your answer, Rick. You said it. He was going to pit. I thought maybe a playoff point. You were absolutely right. They think they can win the race, so they're on pit road, Dave.
I thought the same thing, Steve, because remember, he's only got 7 playoff points right now. But remember, this stage win, only 1 playoff point. If he wins the race, that's 5. So that'd be very valuable. Happy with his race car right now. You can see Joe Gibbs Racing leading the race, starting up front. They've been able to conquer this infield road course and the oval so far. Truex is gone.
Truex gave up the lead. It's the 10th straight road course that Truex has led on. That's the 2nd longest streak of all time, what Truex is doing. So he is great on road courses.
As we watch Truex, this is what the drivers were just talking about, that narrow exit, and here's the 9. So basically we just came to a fork in the road between these 2 road course superstars. The 19 stayed on the racetrack, or excuse me, pitted, the 9 didn't. All right, Jeff, here's what you were talking about.
Trying to carry a lot of speed, hard on the brakes. How many times do you see a driver on the brakes leaving pit road?
Yeah, because you're past the pit road speed line. You can run as hard as you want. That wall comes up at you. So I was talking about 2 different strategies. The 9 of Chase Elliott stays on the racetrack to try to win stage 1. The 19 came to pit road. So a fork in the road on the strategy standpoint.
Pit road is closed now because Chase Elliott went across the start-finish line, and less than 2 laps to go in stage 1. Kevin Harvick trying to hold off the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Again, both have been on pit road now. They're running in the 12th and 13th position, respectively, Harvick and Hamlin. Harvick started up front in this race. As we see the 11 of Denny Hamlin get by Kevin Harvick. So race fans, for every lap Kevin Harvick leads today, Busch is going to donate $1,000, up to $30,000 to the National Forest Foundation. You can learn more about that at Busch Beer on Twitter.
Watch Kevin Harvick's going downshift. 3rd gear, 2nd gear. Look at how big those curves are when he hits them. You can see him just knocking around in the car. Up to 3rd gear. Kevin always takes his hand and sets right there. See it every week.
Now see how this car is driving through this part of the track. Man, it looks like it's out of control. You see him moving the steering wheel around through turns 4 there at the NASCAR oval.
Steve, how hard is this course on equipment?
Very. Oh, trouble here.
Just as I mentioned that, Alex Bowman in the 88 has a left rear tire that's come down, and actually the carcass about to come off now.
And the big concern right here is, unlike at the ovals, here at the road courses, no interliners. So this left rear tire that is flat, that car is on the wheel. You see it now. The carcass is either disintegrated or falling off.
We're going to get here as best you can without ripping it up.
It's still wrapped around the wheel.
My concern now, crush panels, you see the shiny aluminum in front of the tire, beat all the pieces right here. Brake lines are available. Brake cooling is available to get torn off. So Alex Bowman, not that he can do anything else. You can't stop, but doing the best he can, being calm.
We've also seen those tires get wrapped around the rear end housing. And they can't get it out. There you can see it just pushed it out of there.
It comes off, but stays off of the racing surface as Alex Bowman is staying on the apron trying to get back to pit road as Chase Elliott is coming up on the green and white checkered flag.
Chase has won the last 2 road course races and 3 of the 4 stages in the last 2 road course races.
Through the new chicane for the final time of stage 1. This will be his 6th stage win of the season. Actually only had 5 all of 2019. So Chase Elliott grabs stage 1 at the Daytona International Road Course. Logano and Hamlin making up row 1 now.
too. Joey Logano, by my notes here, has not come to pit road. If that truly is the case, then he has old tires, maybe trying to do this on a pit strategy, but he is under attack by Denny Hamlin, who's on the outside.
He definitely did not pit.
Hamlin's going to try to take advantage of the kink here. Gets to the inside of him. It'll be a little bit of a left-hander, and also Kevin Harvick's going to go along. They'll both go by Logano. Now Martin Truex Jr. pressuring him as well in the 19. Here comes Kurt Busch in the 1. A mistake to stay out, not come in for tires?
Well, you know, it's always easy to say after they do it, but, you know, we have saw in the truck race and the Xfinity race that tires did matter. The grip area is so low in the infield. We were talking to Parker Kligerman a minute ago. He was in the truck race, and he said, Steve, the infield is like Martinsville, but in first gear. You cannot hook the rear tires up. That, I think, is what you're seeing. My biggest concern, drivers, is where can you hide these long straightaways? If you don't have the pace, they're going to attack you under every braking zone.
Ryan Blaney's trying to run down Joey Logano. A lot of work in there. Look at the hand movement. Lots of work.
Teammates at Team Penske.
Now he knows Logano's got a little bit older tire. Older tires don't brake as well either. So good opportunity to try to out-brake Joey.
All right, Jeff, explain to everybody at home that tap with the right foot, even under braking.
Yeah, that's a simply, you've got to get the RPMs up in the engine before you downshift. If you don't, the rear tires will start jumping up and down. You got to get the RPMs up, or everything will get meshed up. So you can break transmissions, you can break rear ends, all those parts and pieces. Parker.
Well, guys, as you were talking about, Steve, that 22 car, Joe Logano staying out on those old tires and how oh, wait, we got a pass. Looks like Harvick's trying to hold off Truex here, looking at the inside. But real quick, the tires, you know, it's the first 2 or 3 laps maybe that the new tires matter. From there, if Logano can hang on, it's like they equalize. It's very odd. They're very hard tires. They don't wear out a ton. You just start to lose speed from the heat that gets in them.
So, Steve, Denny Hamlin, remember, had some damage to the front end of his car. He came in on lap 10. Martin Truex Jr. waited until the last moment. He came in on lap 13. So 2 different strategies. Does Denny Hamlin run into any kind of an issue with fuel because he came 3 laps earlier than Martin Truex Jr. did?
That was inside the window. Everybody's fine. Basically, you're just trying to get this race, as silly as this sounds, the last stage cannot be running a tank of fuel. So you're just trying to get to pit one time at the end of this stage, hopefully right before the yellow. So everybody's kind of in the windows. Let's do a quick update, though. So we have Denny Hamlin leading the race. He came at lap 10. Under green, normal road course strategy, everything good. The guy behind him, Martin Truex Jr., we think has one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. He also pitted before the yellow. He's in second. The real update is you go back further, we got to wait on him and wait, and here he comes into the picture, that white and blue 9 of Chase Elliott. Remember, he was the winner of the first stage. Well, the penalty of winning and staying out was coming to pit road under yellow. All the cars in front of him had already pitted, so that puts Chase Elliott just inside the top 10. We know he has a great race car, Rick. You mentioned fuel. Everybody's kind of in the same area. Now, he has that playoff point, so he's not striking out, but look at all the cars he's going to have to pass to get back to Martin Truex.
Saw the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. take the lead away from Denny Hamlin. Here's how it happened.
Yeah, this is going in the back straightaway. Chicane. Truex gets a great run on the exit of the chicane, Jeff. Just too much speed and ability through that corner. Looks like that 19 just a little bit better right now.
Yeah, a little bit faster. All that got set up really all the way back in turn 6, the last corner before you lead on to what is NASCAR turn 1 and 2, and that enabled him to keep that speed up all the way down back straightaway and in position on him. And Ryan Blaney been having a good run.
Blaney, and this is on board Kurt Busch's car. Blaney gives him a little bumper right there. And here in the chicane on the back straightaway. Watch the driver shot here. Go.
What? What? Don't you know I'm here?
You know, it's funny when you're driving. Oh, look, a little pressure there. When you're driving that thing, you're doing that. You actually think he can see you.
Yeah.
You're like,
You mean they can? Because I do that on the interstate a lot. No, nothing. Couple cars to update too, Rick. We talked about Joey Logano, who had yet to come to pit road. He pitted. He'll be back in the 35th position. We're just going to have to see as this strategy pays out. Now Blaney under attack by Chase Elliott in the 9. We documented he gave up those positions for staying out to win stage 1. Now he's up inside the top 10. This will be for the 5th position.
The 19 of Martin Truex Jr. gives up the lead to come in for these tires. And by the way, guys, as you start talking about rain, I caught up with James Small, the crew chief for this car this morning when he was eyeballing the rain tires. I said, what about those? He said, I hope we don't have to put them on. I'm not sure Martin Truex has ever run in the rain. We'll find out if that has to happen today.
Well, Martin Truex Jr., we talked to him earlier this week, and he mentioned, you know, the Busch North races, go-kart races on road courses. He has road course experience. That's why he's so good right now driving in these Cup cars. So at some point in time, I'm sure Martin Truex Jr. has been out there on a road course in the rain.
Hey, he's got me convinced. I tell you, another driver that has great history when it comes to road courses. He's won out at Sonoma. He had a couple top 5s here at the Roval. You know, he's currently in the 2nd position. Why that matters is because he's 14th in points. So he is actually looking pretty good when it comes to the end of the stage. And we're hearing from NASCAR.
Oh, boy.
Big change of events for Martin Truex Jr. on the 19. You see it on the bottom left of your screen. Too fast exiting. Oh boy, when a racing, you're only going to see 3 pit stops. This is going to definitely hurt the 19. Now, luckily, he's so fast that he can service penalty and probably stay somewhere in the top 25. But there you go, pass through.
Yeah, pit road's closed. I don't really know what they want us to do. Stand by.
Stand by. So James Small is saying, listen, the penalty is a pass-through, but pit road is closed. So he's going to confirm with NASCAR very calmly. I believe NASCAR is going to tell them.
Stay out.
There you go. The spotter's going to say to stay out at this point. So now this is actually worse for the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. because if pit road was open, he could do a pass-through. He'd lose about 22 seconds, which is about 10 spots in this spread-out field. But actually, the penalty is going to be the tail of the field on the next restart, which is going to be basically the whole field.
Yes.
So he's going to lose every bit of track position. Just a, I won't say an unfortunate turn of events. It's a mistake. It's not unfortunate. It's a mistake. He went too fast. It is unfortunate for the 19, but Jeff, you mentioned that 11 been a fender in. Now we see the 19 of Truex with another mistake. 2 Joe Gibbs cars that both probably had a chance of winning the race with issues. The 11 has recovered so far. We'll see if the 19 can.
so many drivers talked about eliminating mistakes. That was going to be the key to this race. Dave.
And Jeff, that's one of the there you go, assessing the penalty on the restart. And one of the hard things for these teams without practice and qualifying, they don't get a chance to test those things. Remember that one pass down pit lane under caution on the pre-pace laps. That's when they checked all this. And I heard crew chief saying, hey guys, let's make sure we get this right. A lot of the Truck Series drivers who raced here earlier today got it wrong. And this is one of the teams that pushed the limit just a little bit too close.
You mentioned about the gearing. We saw some cars stalling because of first gear. You know, one more decision you have to make in a road course is, are you going to run first or second gear on pit road speed? There's a lot of things that go into these new tracks. I don't know what the situation is with the 19, whether perhaps it's just, you know, whether the car isn't running smooth or he just pushed it too fast.
Kurt Busch chasing down Corey LaJoie. LaJoie running in the 10th position now. So he's up in the top 10, Corey LaJoie. Son of Randy LaJoie, who was a two-time Xfinity Series champion. Kurt Busch goes by him.
Let's listen to Kurt Busch's throttle.
We've got
so hard to get rear grip.
We got to look at the 11 though, because Denny Hamlin is about to win stage 2. So Denny Hamlin, after teammate Martin Truex Jr. comes to pit road before pit road closed, then has a speeding penalty. Denny Hamlin stays out. He's going to get potentially the win here. Looks like a little bit slow coming out of that chicane, but that'll be his 5th stage win of 2020. Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch making up row 1. There'll be 26 laps to go from Daytona in the road course. Back underway. Michael McDowell in that 34. Jimmy Johnson in the 48, making up row 2 as they break into turn 1.
Look for Jimmy Johnson to be real aggressive right here. Junior, you mentioned it. He was actually to McDowell when that caution came out. He wants that spot right now quickly.
He's still there. Oh, he locks up the tire, trying to stay out of the back of the one car. A lot of contact with the guys there. Everybody getting into that corner just a little bit too hot. Everybody gets through okay, though. But that right front tire, that 48 locked up, and now here he is trying to maintain that 4th position.
Kyle Busch trying to jump on the outside of the 48. He got side by side.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether Brad put him in the grass or not, but it looks like they got through there okay.
Through 5 on their way to 6.
It's a hugely important corner.
Here's Jimmy pushing hard down into turn 6 on the inside.
That's going to hurt his momentum on this front straight, on this back straightaway.
He's got the shorter route, and he's going to stay on that inside. This is the Jimmy Johnson that we usually tend to see try to go out there and win championships. Now, over the last couple of years, he's made a lot of personal mistakes on the racetrack. Here he is again in position to win. Look at Kyle Busch.
Also trying to get by McDowell as they go into the bus stop on the backstretch.
Kyle Busch trying to win his first race this year. Hasn't been to victory lane yet. You know he's pushing hard. Jimmy.
Look how much Jimmy has caught Kurt already.
Jimmy drove right up to the back of Kurt Busch in no time. Man, that 48's got great speed.
See what he does right here. Both swing out to the wall, get themselves lined up to heavy brake.
This is for 2nd.
And just a lot of contact as you watch everybody go through that chicane. A lot of bumpers banging.
But Boyer took advantage of that situation. He's actually underneath Brad Keselowski.
Here comes the 18 of Kyle Busch, closing the gap on Jimmy Johnson.
Blitz on the move right here.
Yeah, he doesn't give Denny Hamlin any opportunity on that outside. Denny has to give up the spot or the battle, the opportunity to stay to the inside here in turn 3.
Michael McDowell, everybody knows how good of a road racer he is, but he's disadvantaged because all the drivers believe they have better cars than Michael McDowell has, so they're not going to cut him any break at all.
And I think that break in the action helped those drivers. As we heard Denny Hamlin looking at SMT data, or other drivers talking to their crew chiefs, you know, a little break in the action to improve what they have to do behind the wheel to help their speed. Dylan.
And Steve, talking with John Klossmeyer, the crew chief for Clint Boyer, he's made the point a couple times today, even on the radios. We see one car off there, and it looks like maybe the horseshoe. But Johnny Klossmeyer, the crew chief for Clint Boyer, made the point, hey, we want stage points, but the biggest thing we want to do is finish where we run throughout the day. It feels like they can run decent, but don't have the finishes to kind of back up those kind of runs they've had. So as we get down closer to the end of this race, going to be important for Boyer as he tries to lock himself into the playoffs. Don't do anything silly here to throw away what's been a really good day already as he battles here with Michael McDowell for the 5th spot.
McDowell blocked him down the back straightaway.
He sure did.
Clint wanted to get on the inside of him, and McDowell said, I'm not having it. It's my spot. If you want it, you can go around the outside.
Some drivers react differently to that, Jeff. Some guys really don't appreciate it when you put that move on them. Difference of opinion.
Well, with 25 to go, I think that changes your opinion as well. Coming to the, a couple laps to go, I can see defensive driving. But before even the final pit stop of the race, I would be a driver that would probably lose my cool a little bit being blocked this early.
Yeah, we heard Cindric yesterday in the Xfinity race complain about it, being blocked on the entry to turn 6. I've seen Nemechek and Priest.
John Hunter Nemechek in the 38. The 23-year-old goes around here.
Just barely got into him. Didn't take much to spin that 38 around.
This Kyle Busch getting by Jimmy Johnson.
So Kyle is up to the 3rd position now, and he's chasing after his brother, which happens all the time, it seems like. As of late, Kurt and Kyle both running nose to tail now.
I mean, Jimmy's car fired off on this restart, but now it seems like the pace is starting to drop on that 48 car with Kyle going by.
Kyle's entry speed.
Well,
look at the bottom left-hand side of your screen. The 19 of Martin Truex Jr. up 10 positions with still 24 laps to go. William Byron also up 10 positions, storming through the field at a racetrack. Very hard to get through traffic. They know they have to kind of try to stay in touch with the leaders if they want to have a chance as the laps wind down.
Chase Elliott, he's hitting pit road.
Yeah, pit road now for Chase Elliott.
Think about the lead he has. Do not speed. No mistakes.
Mistakes is what I think about. Remember, that's how Truex got behind, was speeding on pit road.
And here he comes to you, Dave.
Chase Elliott pits leading. Remember, they needed a boost. They've been down a little bit. Chase said this week that they were off. Alan Gustafson confirmed that to me today. So they'll take on 4 tires and fuel and try to win it win here in Daytona. Dylan?
Oh, and so maybe some problems here for Kyle Busch. He came in and said he felt like something blew up, and the crew just gave the "we're done" signal. So some drama here for Kyle Busch as they examine the right rear. We'll follow up on that, but they did change tires, trying to figure out the issue on the 18, Dave.
Hamlin gave up 3rd place and is on and off a pit road with fresh rubber.
You see right here, they say it's broken, it's done. Something in the right rear. I don't know if it was. Well, let's see if we pull it.
Is that a mechanical failure? Can we get a rotor on it or no?
It was on.
It's a brake issue, guys. Brake rotor issue on the 18.
All right, we talked about this under red flag. These cars had sat. They got all heated up, worked, and then they sat, cooled down, perhaps cracked. It sounds like this is a car that's had braking issues. Let's listen to come to pit road. Oh no, he doesn't even make the chicane.
He's trying to mash the brake pedal. There's nothing there.
Which tells me if you fail a rear rotor, then that rotor is gone. When you step on the brake pedals, you see the fire. That's brake fluid, I'm sure. The pads come out. No braking.
Mechanical.
No way to stop the car. Adam
Stevens
Stevens says it's mechanical because the crash clause. If you have a mechanical failure, take all the time you need. Unfortunately, with 17 laps to go, his chance of winning is over. In his awful 2020, this is the champion who has yet to win. Today was looking good. Not today.
Yeah, reigning champion, 113 points above the cut line. But would you ever think that you would have to mention the cut line and the reigning champion for the Cup Series? I mean, that's the crazy part.
Well, think about today. Not a single car has fallen out of this race. Yeah. So most likely, he is looking at a last place finish.
Jimmy Johnson, another driver we've talked about with that cut line. Right now, he is 17th overall in the point standings, and they take the top 16 to the playoffs, so he's outside.
Yes, he is. James Small, the crew chief of the 19, and Martin Truex Jr. We mentioned they're trying to find a way to get that lost time back from the speeding penalty. Well, this is a gamble because if the caution comes out, everybody's already come to pit road. But the 19 has stayed on the racetrack, and he is running the fastest laps of the race, lap after lap after lap. This is a little bit like Formula One style, right? Let everybody come to pit road. If you feel like you have the best car, you just, as the crew chief, Dylan, you're there running that 19 as hard as you can as we see more pit stops.
Eric Almirola in a little bit slow on the right side for the 10, but they're around to the left sides now. 4 tires and fuel, and looks like maybe a piece of tape on the grill, Parker.
And Ryan Blaney in as well. That was 4 Goodyear tires. Sunoco fuel for him. Still struggling a little bit under the brakes in that car.
And Dylan, I hope they pulled a piece of tape off of the 10 of Eric Almirola because the steam was rolling out at the base of the windshield. It was running hot. So Almirola is making his way back out onto the track with his Go Bowling paint scheme. Martin Truex Jr. is out front. 77 once again. Stanton Barrett struggling through the dirt. Just over 14 laps now to go, and Casgrala is leading right now, but he has not come to pit road. Right now, Chevrolet looks great. They've got the top 6 spots locked up.
Are we leading this thing? We are.
Yes, you are.
Water temp.
Congratulations, you are leading in your first ever Cup start, the road course. You see right here the 3:88.47 all on lap 38 was on pit road. Look at this slide right here. Oh, be careful. Did all right. They were last on pit road at lap 38. That's a long ways. They can't stretch the fuel. They may choose to have a quicker pit stop and take fuel only like we saw with Reddick, but Chase Elliott is the first guy on fresh tires running 4th. He can make it to the finish.
This is basically once we cycle the battle for second between Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin.
Chase Elliott still will hold the lead after everybody cycles through. He's running 4th right now.
Jimmy Johnson's car takes off with a lot of speed, but seems like he falls off a little bit quicker.
We mentioned Martin Truex Jr. was running those really fast laps. Well, unfortunately, when he came to pit road, that left front's just slow because of the fender damage. Gave up some of that time. He's back in 14th, hoping for a yellow.
.37 up in front of them. Ryan Preece, JTG Doherty, 2 entries. Ryan Preece, one of the 2, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is the other. He's currently running in the 5th position. All right, it's time to go through the field, brought to you by Sonic. Let's start with Dave.
Though we assume he'll be pitting soon. What a nice day for Kaz Grala, the 21-year-old from Boston. He's run 7 Xfinity Series races for Richard Childress Racing now in his career and had a couple of nice top 5 runs. That got him the standby status. And when Austin Dillon was diagnosed with COVID, he was the man on duty. First start is going well, Parker.
And the man chasing him down right now is Alex Bowman in that 88 car. Spoke to him before the race today. He had a lot of optimism. You know, he's run so well at the Roval. He said, road courses maybe aren't my favorite, but I've gotten good results. It hasn't shown up here today, though. Really struggled to speed in that 88 car.
Here comes Chase Elliott. That 9 car is just 4 seconds behind the leader who has to pit, and Bowman we would assume as well. What a comeback now for Chase Elliott, who needs a win. Hasn't had one for a few weeks. I'd like to see that happen this afternoon. Parker.
Right behind him is his 7-time champion teammate Jimmy Johnson with a full-on effort trying to make the playoffs and fend off that 11 car of Denny Hamlin. The team came on the radio and said, your drive off is better than him. We're going to cycle out second here. Go get them, Jimmy. That's what he's doing right now, Dave.
Denny Hamlin's trying to go get Jimmy, that's for sure. What a battle for this group right here. The 11 car of Hamlin has led today already, 16 laps on the day. A very strong car. Can he make it pay off at the end? We'll find out, Dylan.
Dave Clint Boyer continues his strong day running in the 6th spot. The team had this one circled once they knew that it was going to be one of these Roval style races. They know Clint runs well at similar tracks, a track like Sonoma where you have to save your stuff, short tracks as well. Clint saved his stuff perfectly in a really good spot right now as he runs 6th.
Look at this. Denny Hamlin once again cutting down along the apron, really the exit of turn 6, shortening the racetrack. Tries to get by the 48, but here comes the crossover move. Jimmy Johnson working back on the inside.
We know Jimmy Johnson will drive down to the corner with him. He's not just going to relinquish this spot. Denny, he's just faster. A little better braking.
Yep.
Carry more speed on corner exit.
You called it, Jeff. It's really, you know, when I'm looking at lap times and speed, the 48 is one of the best cars on new tires. He just cannot seem to keep the speed in the car as the run progresses. Here you go. 2 cars come to pit road. The leader, Kaz Grala, and the 88 of Bowman. Good job by Bowman getting right to his rear bumper.
That's going to cycle Chase Elliott to the lead. It's going to bring Denny to 2nd, Jimmy to 3rd, Boyer to 4th, McDowell to 5th.
And the drivers you just mentioned don't need to come to pit road for the rest of this race. So now it's a fight on the racetrack.
Think of the pressure that this 34 car feels. They know that Michael's expected to run better here, right? So while that is a positive, you don't ever want to shake that. That's a lot of pressure. You know, the whole team knows they don't want to let him down. Drew Blickensderfer on top of the pit box, he's going to feel that pressure. He just wants to give his driver. I've always said the crew chief's role is to give the superstars a platform to show their skills. That's what Drew did today. He gave Michael McDowell a car for him to go out there and show the world that his driver has the skill to run up front in these races.
When we talked to the 35-year-old from Glendale, Arizona, he made the comment his expectations are high this weekend. So it's not just the team or everybody else. His expectations are high. He knew coming in that he could do something like this. He could run this well against the competition.
And you know what this reminds me of? You know, you were talking about, look at this gaggle of cars back here. You're talking about Cindric yesterday and how he may look more advantageous for a team because he can run well on the road courses. I think Michael McDowell does bring that, Jeff, to some of these other cars.
Yeah, see that 21 car, Matty Benedetto. We talked about Jimmy Johnson and William Byron, how good a days they're having. Well, he's not having a good day. He got 6 points earlier, but he is currently running at 18th spot. Jimmy Johnson sitting there in 3rd. William Byron in 6th. If things don't change, Matty D is going to give up a lot of points today. Dylan.
And that's disappointing because they were really genuinely excited about the chances to maybe compete for a win here. Greg Irwin, the crew chief, talked about how much love Matt has for racing on these style of road courses. So they were running much further up the board earlier in the day and have just kind of gotten shuffled down and haven't been able to make their way forward. But definitely going to be disappointed with this because they really thought they had a shot to contend for a win and score some points to kind of get themselves out of the basement, so to speak, in the playoff standings.
Oh, hard hit, the 18 of Kyle Busch. So a caution has come out.
Yellow.
And that's not what the 19 of Chase Elliott wanted, but it was definitely what the 11, the 48, the 14, the 19 all wanted.
Blew it apart. Right rear.
So they definitely have some sort of braking issue. Where that 18 car is wrecked is very odd location. It sounds like he had another perhaps brake failure. Oh yeah, there's something going on in there.
Like something blew apart in the right rear, I think. We were on the bank in there. It blew both rears out.
Let's take a look and see what happened with Kyle. Something catastrophic. Tires coming apart. He's off the gas, trying to slow it down. It's into the fence just a little bit right there. Everybody avoids. But man, you can't drive that thing on much less one flat tire. Got two.
That is odd, Steve. Both tires blew out.
Yeah, they have definitely a braking issue of some sort on this 18 car, and this issue for the 18 is opportunity for his teammate Martin Truex Jr.
It makes you wonder if something broke and he didn't run over that debris, his own debris or something with the other tire.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, it looks like the track bar. Well, I can't tell if it's the track bar or the flat tires. Everything's busted on. How about that? It's not
I
good.
was going to say, guys, it doesn't look good.
You know, there's certain
say
times.
a tire, but it.
Yeah, there's certain times, Rick, you start trying to analyze what's wrong. I can just tell you there's a lot wrong with that 18 car.
Yeah. It will be 3 laps to go from the Daytona International Speedway road course. Chase Elliott back up through the gears. Denny Hamlin. Here comes the 48. Jimmy Johnson with a good restart. Now a little shove there out of Clint Boyer to the 11.
It was a great launch for the 9 car. He is very comfortably ahead here.
Who's going to give the 11? Denny Hamlin or Jimmy Johnson? Jimmy Johnson gave. That's going to give some run to Truex. Jimmy with the block.
Yeah, Truex had to give him a little bit of room there, cut him a break.
And Pusher in the corner deep, sliding that blue 17
Yeah, he's
car.
on the outside of the 19 now.
That was a good move.
Chris Buescher all the way up to 4th.
Now he's going to be on the outside. Squeeze Martin a little bit. We've seen this outside work a few times, but Chris is going to have to do everything perfect.
Chris got a little contact from the 24 there.
A little slide out of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. He blocks the 17.
Wow, these guys are doing a great job of taking care of each other, not taking each other out.
The top 3 have separated themselves. 4th, Martin Truex Jr. Back to 5th, Chris Buescher.
Restart did not work out well for Clint Boyer, but it did work out well for Bubba Wallace. It's right behind him.
Yeah, I was worried. He stayed out on old tires, but Bubba Wallace doing a wonderful job on old tires, trying to stay up here. He's done a nice job now to give him a little breathing room. Cass Gralla in the 3 right behind him. Then the 88 of Bowman and the 47 of Stenhouse's. Oh, the 32 of Corey LaJoie gets turned around.
LaJoie around, he keeps going. We stay green. Denny Hamlin looked like he was trying to close the gap between the 9 and the 11. Now they come into a braking zone.
And you're right. He's right there. Denny Hamlin putting the pressure on. Chase Elliott is able to hang on to him for this lap.
2 to go from Daytona.
Two have a little history in late race action.
Chase enters really low.
Yeah, that was a major difference between the two drivers approach to turn 1. One way low, one much higher.
Kind of has to hurt the exit on the 9 car, but entering turn 3 here. And both those guys do a really good job getting down to the bottom of the corner.
The biggest threat right now is overdriving the entry of the corner. There's so much speed to be had by driving into the corners on road courses deeper.
Just waiting on one of these guys to slip a tire, lock up a tire. Another low entry for the 9 car. Denny outbrakes the 9 into the corner.
Every corner you drive off is better than him. He's pressing in hard on the braking zones.
That's the 9 car. Spotter.
That's great information, though. It's great information. It's accurate information.
Denny's pretty close. I mean, I thought the 9 car had a much better race car than the 11, but Denny's done a great job of keeping it close. And this ain't a sure thing for Chase Elliott by no means.
The key for Hamlin is to keep that pressure on. Force Chase Elliott into a mistake. Every one of these corners is an opportunity for a mistake. Very challenging road course.
One lap, 3.6 miles. It's a lot of racetrack.
And we saw at Watkins Glen, it wasn't that long ago, where we said all Chase Elliott has to do is not make a mistake. Well, he wheel hopped going into turn 1 at Watkins Glen, but he was still able to fight off the challenge that the drivers were still giving him. Can he do it again? Can he make another perfect lap? He's got one more lap to go at Daytona. One lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank.
Drive off. He's burying it in all the braking zones.
And Denny Hamlin is close enough. If the 9 makes a mistake, he will be there. Big arc by the 11, trying to get to the bottom of this corner, have a straight drive off.
Denny really wide right there. Doesn't really lose a lot, but he's pushing as hard as he can.
Yeah, he's just searching, trying to find something different, trying to find some speed somewhere. You see Truex underneath Johnson behind him.
There's a car in front of these two. Will that affect Chase Elliott and the line that he chooses?
It's all going to be where they catch that car. Is it in a bad spot, or does he find a way by without an issue? Oh, that is a bad spot to get by him.
You hope he just pulls over.
Yeah, he pulls over. Quinhoff's going to pull over, get out of the way of this battle for the lead.
We've seen a lot of issues in turn 6 today. Very tough braking. The 9 does a nice job. Will he get a good acceleration off? There you go, Rick. 2 more chicanes to the start-finish line.
Denny with a much lower exit, but that 9 car just really got out of turn 6 so much better. Able to put a good distance there. Chase is going to look in the mirror and feel like, man, all right. Got a little more comfort there between me and the 11.
Clearly, Chase Elliott's a little bit quicker, but how about Denny Hamlin? Every week, it seems, we see him battling for the win.
Man, Denny drove it in there.
He did.
Way
he made it work. Going to get beat on this exit, but Denny Hamlin with a big surge there into the rear chicane.
Earlier, we heard Mario Andretti talk about history and making history. It was a historic event today. The Cup Series running on the road course at Daytona for the first time ever. A big challenge out of Denny Hamlin here one last time. But trying to make history, the 9 of Chase Elliott, 3 road course wins in a row. He's going to win at Daytona. That is your checkered flag moment. How good is Chase Elliott on road courses? Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr. both acknowledging what just took place there. Jimmy Johnson coming home in the 4th position. A good run for the 7-time champion.
I mean, our guys did a phenomenal job. I mean, just had a phenomenal car. I don't think I did anything very special today. I think Alan and Tom and all our guys did a really good job hitting it there at the start. Made a couple really small adjustments, I felt like, there that first stop, and was able to kind of leave it after that. So just appreciate everybody that makes this happen. Thanks to the fans. Good to see you guys back. Appreciate y'all coming out. And yeah, just thanks to our partners, Chevrolet. Spent a lot of time with them this past week. Big special thanks to Jordan Taylor and Boris said for reaching out and being willing to help this weekend. Some road course ringers, so tried to lean on them, and luckily everything worked out.
Chase, on the cool down lap, Alan radioed to you that this is a big one.
been 14 races since you've been in victory lane. How much does this mean to the team heading to the playoffs?
Well, it means a lot. You know, we've been struggling these past few weeks, and you know, really struggled at Michigan, I felt like. So, you know, didn't know for sure if we were going to be good here, but felt like if we were, we really needed to capitalize. I mean, running 8th or 7th or wherever we did at Michigan, an extra 5 bonus points could be the difference in you making it to the next round once this deal starts. So we'll keep the pedal down and try to keep pushing. But thanks to all our partners, Hooters, Mountain Dew, Kelly Blue Book, just everybody that makes this happen. UniFirst, been a great partner, and looking forward to getting on down the road.
Keep the pedal down, ring the siren in Dawsonville. Chase Elliott wins at the Daytona Road Course.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.